Imagine being a young orphan with no inheritance, no connections, and no money to your name. Now picture that same person growing up to create one of the most iconic luxury brands in the world. A brand that's synonymous with precision, power, and status. This isn't just a story of success. It's the extraordinary tale of how a poor boy named Hans Wilsdorf defied the odds, revolutionized the watch industry, and built a legacy that would last forever. The watch you wear on your wrist today, it might just have a piece of his brilliance in it. Let's dive into the incredible journey of the man who changed the world of time forever. The poor boy who changed the watch industry forever. The year is 1893. A 12-year-old boy named Hans Wilsdorf faces an unimaginable loss. Both of his parents pass away, leaving him orphaned. As if that weren't enough, the small inheritance he received is stolen during his journey, leaving him with nothing. For most, this might have been the end of the road, but for Hans, it was just the beginning. Amid the despair, he held on to one passion: watches. More than just a hobby, it became his life's calling. Rather than succumb to his circumstances, Hans channeled his pain into a singular vision: to create a timepiece that would stand the test of time itself. At 19, Hans moved to Switzerland, the heart of watchmaking, where he honed his skills working for Kuhn Korten. There he saw a gap in the market, a need for watches that were as beautiful as they were precise, sparking his vision to revolutionize the industry. In 1903, Hans faced another setback when his inheritance was stolen. But rather than dwell on misfortune, he saw this as an opportunity to start fresh. Moving to London, he worked in sales and marketing, honing his understanding of the business side of watchmaking. This experience expanded his vision, and he was determined to craft timepieces that were not only beautiful, but also practical and precise. By the age of 24, Hans had absorbed everything he could from his time in the industry. Now it was time to make his mark. He wasn't just aiming to meet the needs of consumers, he wanted to exceed them. With a modest partnership with his brother-in-law, Hans launched his company in 1905, Wilsdorf and Davis. But there was a major hurdle: capital. With limited funds, Hans gave his brother-in-law a share of the business in exchange for financial backing. Together, they focused on creating pocket watches for the growing travel market, emphasizing precision, portability, and durability. The result? The portfolio pocket watch, which quickly gained popularity. But Hans knew this was just the beginning. His true vision was for wristwatches, and he was determined to prove their potential. In the early 1900s, wristwatches were still considered a women's accessory, not something for men. But Hans Wilsdorf wasn't one to follow trends. He was about to set one. In 1906, he noticed a growing trend in Britain. Both men and women were wearing bracelets. This sparked an idea: why not design wristwatches that looked like bracelets, but maintain the precision and practicality of traditional timepieces? Hans introduced gold and silver wristwatches, cleverly marketing them as bracelet watches instead of traditional wristwatches. This marketing twist made his watches stylish and desirable, catching the attention of both men and women in Britain. Before long, the watch industry would be forced to take notice. Wristwatches were no longer just functional, they were fashionable. As the business expanded, Hans realized his watches needed a name that would resonate globally, something short, memorable, and fitting for the elegance of his timepieces. After considering over 100 options, he settled on Rolex, a name that was simple, elegant, and easy to pronounce in any language. In 1908, he trademarked the name, setting the stage for a brand that would become synonymous with precision and luxury. Rolex quickly earned a reputation for exceptional craftsmanship, but Hans's ambitions stretched further. It wasn't just about creating watches, it was about revolutionizing the industry with the most reliable and accurate timepieces the world had ever seen. With this new name, he was poised to take Rolex to the global stage. Hans understood that a great watch had to be more than just beautiful. It had to be functional, reliable, and precise. The problem, however, was that wristwatches of the time couldn't match the accuracy of pocket watches. Determined to change this, Hans set out to solve the challenge. In 1910, after years of research and collaboration with top watchmakers, he achieved a breakthrough, the first wristwatch movement to receive a chronometer certificate from the official Chronometer Testing Institute in Switzerland. This milestone was pivotal, cementing Rolex's reputation for precision and excellence. But Hans wasn't content with stopping there. He sought to push the boundaries even further, aiming to create watches that could endure the harshest conditions. His relentless pursuit of perfection would soon make Rolex the undisputed leader in the watchmaking world. By 1914, Hans had expanded his business and was on the brink of global success. But as his dreams neared reality, disaster struck. World War I. The war threw the global economy into chaos, and the British government imposed a 33% export duty on watches, driving Rolex's prices sky high. Sales plummeted. Faced with the threat of failure, Hans made a bold move. He relocated Rolex to Switzerland and rebranded the company as Rolex Watch Company Limited, starting fresh in the heart of watchmaking. This move proved to be a game changer. Not only did it save the company, but it also positioned Rolex at the center of the watchmaking world. Amidst the war, Hans saw an opportunity. Soldiers needed reliable, durable timepieces. Watches became vital for military coordination. Seizing this need, Rolex introduced the trench watch, a rugged, reliable piece designed to endure the harshest conditions of battle. In 1926, Hans unveiled the Rolex Oyster, the world's first fully waterproof watch. To prove its durability, he partnered with swimmer Mercedes Gleitze, who swam across the English Channel wearing the Oyster. Although she didn't finish the swim, the watch emerged from the water in perfect condition, cementing Rolex's reputation for precision and reliability. The Rolex Oyster was a game changer, but Hans Wilsdorf's pursuit of innovation didn't stop there. He set his sights on a new goal, creating a watch that didn't need winding. At the time, all watches required manual winding every few days, a tedious chore. Hans knew that if he could develop a self-winding mechanism, it would revolutionize the industry. In the 1930s, after years of experimentation, he introduced the Rolex Perpetual, the world's first fully automatic watch. Featuring a semicircular rotor that wound the mainspring with the wearer's wrist movement, the Perpetual eliminated the need for winding. This groundbreaking innovation not only marked a huge success for Rolex, but it also solidified Hans Wilsdorf's place as one of the greatest innovators in watchmaking. Rolex watches didn't just tell time, they changed the way time was measured. Despite the global turmoil of World War II, Rolex not only survived, it thrived. By adapting to the challenges of limited resources and focusing on durable, reliable timepieces, the brand continued to grow, solidifying its position as a leader in the industry. As the decades passed, the legacy of Rolex grew stronger, cementing Hans Wilsdorf's vision of creating watches that embodied more than just precision. They symbolized durability, innovation, and excellence. By the time Hans passed away in 1960 at the age of 79, Rolex had already become the undisputed leader in the watchmaking world. His journey from orphan child to creator of one of the world's most powerful luxury brands was truly extraordinary. Today, Rolex continues to uphold the qualities Hans valued most: innovation, quality, and excellence. The Rolex name remains synonymous with success and prestige, and the legacy of Hans Wilsdorf endures in every timepiece that embodies unmatched accuracy and style.